right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Attempts at Governance episode 216. 216. And we got a fresh panel of faces here to discuss just a few refs today, but it's going to be a great show. I think we're going to dive deep in a few important topics, of course, but we're going to start with the state of the Treasury. And before I show it on screen, we're down this week. We're really down this week. Starting with DOT, down 10,000 DOT, worth 44.4 thousand US dollars at today's market value, bringing the DOT pile to 30.3 million DOT. USDC down 5,050,000 USDC from this time last week, bringing us to 2.57 million USDC. And we're also down 340,000 USDT to 8.22 million USDT. That's the state of the Treasury. I'll now throw it over to Limo for referenda gone by to find out where all this USDC went. Limo,
Where's Funky? He's never here, man.
just please,
It's crazy.
just push on. Just go through.
Can't believe it. Okay, the first ref is by Alex GGH on the whitelisted caller track, ref 1484. This was approved and increases the validator set size to 600. We've come a long way on that one. Then we've got quite a big one. This is the Polkadot liquidity campaign on the big spender track, ref 1439. This was approved and it's for 795,000 DOT. Which is to be allocated towards liquidity provision for .eth and v.eth pairs on Arbitrum, Base, BNB, and Ethereum mainnet. This is
Nice.
pretty sweet. Then we have Clo on the big spender track, ref 1432. This was approved and proposes the curators for the AAG Rust bounty, and those curators are Valerie from Hydration, Jakob Panic from Hydration, Basti, who is a wizard, Donald Murray, who is a wizard, and some dude called 0x Taylor, who's really dodgy. Then we've got Pay Free, ref 1425. This was approved as well. And this is for 350,000 USDT immediately, and then 250,000 USDT and 30,000 DOT after 6 months for the Pay Free SDK real-time peer-to-peer smart contracts. This is the guys that were talking about like poker games and stuff, if you remember, about 2 weeks ago, I believe.
Whoa.
Then we have Then we have Open Square on the small spender track, ref 1455. This was approved and it is for 67,000 USDT for the maintenance of state scan from the period of October 2023 until March 2025. Quite a long one there. Then we've got SimDot on the big tipper track, ref 1483. This was rejected and it was for 700 DOT for the Jam SDK implementation of a reusable service. And finally, we've got a serial repeat grifter, Lima, with one big tipper, ref 1491. This was approved, and it's for 1,000 USDC, 1,000 USDT, and 550 DOT to provide liquidity to the Snowbridge USDT, USDC tokens against DOT on Asset Hub to facilitate fee swaps, and that's all being executed now. And there's one that's about to confirm, ref 1493. This is for 520 DOT, which some of it will be swapped into ETH and then bridged over and then bridged over again. And there'll be a Snowbridge ETH against DOT pool on Asset Hub to facilitate fee payments. And both of those include 50 DOT for beers because you've got to add your grift when you can get it. And that is ref compy.
Well done. You know, the one thing though, Limo, is I didn't quite see there what happened to all our valuable USDC. Can you help me understand where that 5.05 million USDC went from this time last week?
Yeah. So this, I believe, was in ref gone by last week. It was the Brave proposal. So that was 3 million USDC.
Yeah.
So it's quite a substantial amount.
Juice.
And what was the Treasury at now, USDC wise? Not too much.
USDC now 2.57 million USDC. So not enough for that PBA proposal, which is why they resubmitted half and half.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody should do something about that.
I think we're going to talk about that later in the show, and there's been a lot of great work, people just doing things. We're going to get into that. But you know what? A few that you spoke about here. One is, oh yes, so this liquidity for the fee swaps. You already deployed this, I think. You and Ben already deployed this, right?
The USDT against
USDT,
dot pools,
USDC, yeah. So that was already done. And then this 50 dot tip is for you guys for doing that, right? Is there any other work that you guys are doing right now?
So there's the ETH dot pool that should exist tonight or tomorrow,
Sure.
depending on when we do it, because Ben's at an event in Poland, so he has to sign stuff on the move.
Yeah.
Then I'm kind of working on making Snowbridge USDC USDT sufficient on Asset Hub and setting the metadata for them. So we've got the call ready. We've tested it on Chopsticks. It works. So maybe just going to pass that around a few people in like the fellowship, see what they think. There's some questions on should the existential deposit be 1 cent or 4 cents
Right.
or something. Apparently that's a big deal. So yeah, gonna just pass that around the fellowship and hopefully get some level of confirmation that people are happy with it. Because what we'll talk about later, there might be a root ref that gets put up in the next couple of days, which then I wouldn't be able to submit this on the root track. So maybe the wizards at the fellowship can whitelist it if they're happy with it.
Cool. All right, nice. Hey, the other big thing was this DeFi Singularity. That's some big chunk of dot there. This is going to be distributed over time, I guess. So we have one tranche, well, right now, last week it was available. The next one is in 2 months. The next one is in 5 months. The next one is in 8 months. Almost 200,000 dot every time. Crazy. And then the final crazy thing was this Peer 3 SDK. I can't believe this snuck through 52%. I thought this is going to get killed. But I don't know what happened there. I mean, congratulations to the team. I'm happy about this one. I think it's cool. But yeah, Lee.
So I think it's cool. Some people are against it, right?
Yeah.
So as a reminder,
Yeah.
a lot of this payment is a scheduled payment.
Yeah.
So in 6 months' time. So let's say in 3 months' time, let's like ask how it's going. Maybe check it up on it. And if it's being delivered, then fine. If there's no delivery, you can always cancel scheduled payments, right?
Yes.
So don't be too worried. But definitely, you can check up on this in a few months.
Yeah. There were definitely some grumbles about this passing, although I did throw this meme up in certain venues. Um, clearly, complaining about a ref that you didn't participate in is a tale as old as time. But really, if you want to influence the future, you have to play in the present. What do we got, Tommy?
I've been also a little bit critical about the proposal, but it is funded, and I think it's very important that we root for them winning
Make the most of it. Yeah.
because there's Polkadot, and there's I would say the Kusama side of things is sort of the light and the dark side of things, and Polkadot is one of the very few ecosystems that is rooting for true Web3 technologies, right? And the proposal is very true to the core of cypherpunk ideas. So
Yeah.
I'm really hoping that they are able to deliver, because it would add to our capacity to do nice cypherpunk things.
Absolutely. I mean, the poker and casino use case alone, I think, could be well big enough to do this, but we have to pull it off. It's the same thing with the Inter Miami deal, right? It went through. We got to be making the most of it. And yeah. Hey, did you guys see Tom Brady retweeted the Coos logo?
Really
Huge. Absolutely huge. Yeah,
big.
huge. All right, let's keep going here. Because he retweeted a goal. Okay, what's next? Oh, I think we want to hear from some awesome people, starting with, where is it? Here it is. We got Flez on the show. Flez, welcome to AAG, sir. We've been talking about your proposal here, Ref 1466, Polkadot Cloud website development. This is just phase one, 50,000 USDT. And you're kind of on the line here. We got about, what, a third of the way of the decision period left, 10 days left. And yeah, you come up to clear the air
I did.
and bring us up. Okay, so what do you want to talk about here?
Well, I'm, know some of you guys already, but as a quick background,
Please.
essentially, I've been in Polkadot for 3 years, more on the quiet side, up until about 6 months ago. I'm the UX bounty curator now,
Yeah.
and I'm working with the Inc. Alliance team behind the scenes for the last few weeks, working on their new website. Should be ready by the end of the month. In Web 2, I'm co-founder of an ad network. And before that, for a decade, I did a web design agency. And so really looking to bring my talents to Polkadot. And so really my focus right now is on the Polkadot Cloud project. If we take a step back and think about what Polkadot Cloud really is, I think as a network, we've always been building toward this concept of Polkadot Cloud. It's just not really apparent until more recently. Because if you ask yourself, what is Polkadot actually selling? right? Like what is our two attribute? It's not block space sales. It's not core time reservations. Like we offer that today, right? But that's not what we're actually selling. We're selling resilience, right? Building unstoppable cloud services, individual services at that. And so, Polkadot started with just a simple service. It was a blockchain hosting service, right? And over the years, we added a lot more features, data availability, object storage, elastic scaling, you name it. Each improvement, though, you could argue is just an iteration of Polkadot Cloud. So it's like adding to that greater resilience narrative. And then Jam's going to really take this to the next level, right? Because Polka VM is going to do a lot of stuff that typically, builders had a lot more hurdles with, right? So like, for example, Web3 app developers had to build for the blockchain before, severely limiting what they could do. Moving forward with Jam, though, Polka VM is going to handle all of that, right? So it's going to open the door dramatically for developers to get involved with Polkadot on a much quicker basis and for a lot more things. So, in other words, you can kind of think of like the Polkadot cloud as like this decentralized Web3 cloud offering and get away from Polkadot being so stuck to a blockchain conceptually, right? So, I'm involved with the Polkadot cloud project because I'm personally paying a lot of money for Web2 cloud services right now. I see the future of Polkadot being centered around this cloud offering. And so, that's really what I'm focused on doing. Now, there are some issues that have been brought up, like fragmentation in different groups, which, I think we did a good job so far, answering. But, just to be blunt about it, Polkadot.com is, more for the mainstream users, right? It's more generalized. It's static. Whereas what we're trying to build here is more of an interactive tool, right? Something that you can actually see live pricing. You can actually do things, on the actual website. And there's legal limitations and whatnot for .com and what you can't do there, right? So it's pretty much a necessity in my mind. It's just more so getting community buy-in and making sure we're all on the same page and working together to bring this to life. So I'm here to answer any questions you guys have. Phase one is really to highlight those individual cloud services, make sure it's very obvious what is available today, what's coming soon, and then making it so that we can showcase what's possible. And there's just this huge disconnect right now. Like, think about it. There's all these core builders building amazing technology at Polkadot. Where is that being talked about, right? It's like on X. Like Polkadot.com does not currently even mention Polkadot Cloud. It doesn't have individual services highlighted and so forth. So there's a big opportunity here for us to just, rally around this idea, this North Star for the ecosystem, and make sure that what we fund, for OpenGov, for example, there's all these referendums. We're funding them, but we don't have the vision in place, right? So it's like, there's all these things that we could fund, but hey, if it fits into the Polkadot Cloud narrative or the hub narrative, that should be, something we focus on as a network, I think, more. So, like I said, I'm here to help answer any questions you guys have. The referendum is kind of like 50-50 close right now. I think it's a little bit under that. So any support you guys have, I would love it.
All right, thanks a lot. I want to have a discussion with you here, but let's open it up to the panel first, starting with Angie.
Is there any chance we can tap into your ad network background and bring in decentralized advertising?
Yeah, so that was one of the main things that we wanted to do originally, me and my partner from the Web2 world. But the technology is not there yet. It's definitely coming, and I think that's where that's where we got to get to as a network. I would love to bring those services to Polkadot, but that's not the main focus, and I don't want everybody to think, hey, I just want to make money on advertising. That's not the goal. But definitely for phase two, when we get into the marketing discussions, I would definitely be one of the people that you would want to lead that effort, just because I know programmatic advertising inside and out. I build a DSP, an SSP, and an exchange from scratch with just one other developer. And it's fully automated at this point. So I'd just love to bring that to Polkadot.
Good. Maybe you should talk to the marketing bounty.
It's on the roadmap.
Tommy.
Hey, Tommy.
And talk to the games bounty.
Mm.
We want to bring that into games.
Nice.
For sure.
Okay, just listing a few pro and contras. So first of all, I think it's a very good idea. This is exactly the direction we want to go for, is list all the cloud products. I think it would also help us discover any gaps we have in our thinking when we get it on a product page, and then we see, okay, what products are we actually missing? I think the ask is very proper. It's $50,000. If you compare it, for example, OpenGov last year has been funding at $150,000 for a bounty manager UI, which has a much smaller target group. And I think $50,000 for a bigger target group for developers for exactly the narrative we're going for. I think this is very much worth it. I see the risk that some people might have an issue with the Polkadot.cloud URL being owned by you because it feels so official. That some people might have an issue with the team owning it and then in the future leveraging from it, which also would not be the worst thing if a team can be successful on leveraging on this. But I think some people might have an issue with that. Yeah, and that's it for me. I will give it an I because I think $50,000 is like super low risk for something that can have a lot of benefit just in improving our like collective thinking about the whole area.
Appreciate that. No, any support's amazing. Yeah, and to your point about the domain, I mean, think about it. I actually own Polkadot.inc myself. However, I'm hosting that domain for the Use Inc. and Inc. Alliance, right? So it's going to be redirected to their offering. And so I look at it like we're a decentralized, platform. Obviously, we could centralize domain ownership with a, Web3 Foundation, but essentially nonprofits aren't that safe either. Here in the United States, they're actually compromised right now. And so if you just take a step back and think like, hey, as long as the people that are behind it are involved heavily with Polkadot and the development, I would look at it as a positive. And as long as it's not being used in any negative way and the community's involved, right? That's the big thing. I want to make clear that this is going to be a group effort with lots of teams. Phase 2 is going to include integrations from around the ecosystem, right? So there's all these silos, all these really good developers building things, but there's no cohesion, right? So that's really what we want to do.
What are some examples of?
Well, a good example in my mind is like Apollon, right? They've built all of this really good stuff behind the scenes, but not many people talk about them. And so they have really good solutions built, very quick for people to get involved with the technology behind Polkadot. But as far as visibility is concerned, I feel like it could be better off working with something like Polkadot Cloud, even the PDP project, for example, that could eventually integrate into Polkadot Cloud. Mm-hmm. It's mentioned on their website multiple places, but there's no actual website or anybody talking about Polkadot Cloud on the .com. So it seems like a no-brainer, or at least the next step, right, for us to explore as an ecosystem.
All right, I'm still holding on to something, but Jose's got something to say first.
Yeah. So, basically, I can see two targets here. We're targeting two different people. We're targeting, with Polkadot.com, we're targeting people who wants to build a service, who wants to get deep into the technology itself, as launching a parachain or a service, right, for under Jam, right? But we don't have a focus of a marketing focus into the Polkadot.com website. I think it has become more of a repository of really useful information for launching, staking, whatnot, right? But it's not really functional. Do you see the Polkadot Cloud being more promotional than information-wise towards the target of basically you are trying to bring the developers and show them what is available in the ecosystem in a more promotional way? Or are you including or going to be including some functionality? Sorry, I'm getting a bunch of questions there. So.
Yeah, so if we take a step back, right, .com, to me at least, and reading through Sean's notes on the forum and whatnot, right, it makes a lot of sense to separate the cloud and the hub offerings in a very obvious way. And so if you think about what hub is, it's really .com and it's the mobile app, right, that's being built. That's what the more mainstream users are going to get involved with, their first touch point, right, for Polkadot. Whereas Polkadot.cloud is going to be specifically for enterprise users and developers that are more hardcore, right? People that are spending lots of time working on infrastructure plays, things like that. Otherwise, developers that are just tinkering around here and there will live in the hub, right? They're just going to be able to launch smart contracts with ease, get involved very quickly. So from a marketing perspective, Polkadot.cloud should definitely focus more on just the business aspect of it, right? Why would TikTok get involved with Polkadot? What web page do we link them to? Right? Like right now, I have no web page to even send somebody to from X or TikTok or any of that where it actually shows them what's possible, right? And developers right now in Web 2 are exploring. But most Web 2 developers think like, hey, I need to have a blockchain to do anything like this, right? But that's not the case anymore. With Jam, you can little pieces, right? You can make Web 3 this, Web 3 that. You don't need to have your whole thing run on a blockchain. So I think that's going to open the door to a lot. Hey, James, so you have a question?
Yeah, so I remember seeing a lot of discussion online around should this content be on Polkadot.com or a separate website. And we know Polkadot.com is not open source right now, but even if it were, I heard the argument that this type of content will never be on that website. And I didn't know if you wanted to mention that just for any listeners who may still have some confusion around that.
Yeah, I'm not too sure how much, the Web3 Foundation and those guys and Parity and whatnot want to talk about that publicly, to be honest. But I think just if everybody takes a step back and thinks about it, right, there's always going to be legal limitations when you attach it to the main website. So things like showing live core pricing, doing swaps, all that kind of stuff. Anything that's like on chain, you add liability. So to have Polkadot.cloud be a separate entity where that's the main focus is definitely opportunistic from the top, right? You'd have two different funnels. You'd have the ability to really go crazy with Polkadot.cloud, whereas Polkadot.com is going to be very, straightforward, mainstream, professional, clean. So yeah, hope that answers your question. Hey, Nikos.
Hey, my question comes mainly to, I understand that you want to build this Polkadot cloud thing, and it's going to be, I don't want to go into the details and anything, like if it's going to be awesome or not. This is on capable hands, and let's say it's going to be amazing. What if Parity or Web3 Foundation or Distractive come the next day with a official, flying quotes, Polkadot cloud, and then some other developer comes with a Polkadot hub website that will be super dynamic, and then somebody else comes with a, I don't know, Jam cloud website. This sounds to me very, very split across different areas. So what I would like to see very much into the proposal is, or like somewhere that this is in alignment with Web3 Foundation, in alignment with Polkadot.com. Like if this Polkadot cloud works out and it comes out, then this is going to be the official Polkadot cloud thing that we're going to be using. And we're not going to have all this information split into different websites. I don't think that the money are too little or too much. I don't want to touch on that. I just would like to see a much better cooperation across the parties that evolving the marketing strategy and the exposure of Polkadot. I don't know how to say it. Like icon on the web for all these products, either clouds or hubs or whatever it is. So the question comes down to: have you talked with Parity? Have you talked with the fellowship? Have you talked with the Distractive about if this thing goes well, if it could be the official one?
Yeah, I've been in touch with Sean T, the whole time. This was actually, his concept, right, on the forums originally. So when I was reading through that a couple of months back, I reached out to him directly, showed him the different ideas that I had, the plans. He liked it. Gavin retweeted, right, the official Polkadot cloud launch announcement. So that was pretty big. So he's obviously aware. I think, to take some of what you said and just kind of break it down, hub and cloud offerings are going to be different timings, right? Cloud's something where we can get started now. Jam's going to open up a lot of stuff with that. Hub, to make a whole website dedicated for the hub the right way, in my opinion, is something that's not available today. There's just too much going on, right? So to your point, right, you would have a cloud website start. You'd have the Polkadot.com website. Very straightforward, hub and cloud. You connect them at the top of the website, whether it's a link or some sort of call out. But essentially, there shouldn't be any confusion there. Now for a hub to work, right, that's a pretty extensive play for a whole new website, where if you go through the forums, right, there's actually a post dedicated to what the hub could be. It's extensive. Like, it's a lot of functionality built into one tool. So I'd argue, let's start with the cloud. Let's get that going. There's already Polkadot.com and the app being worked on, which will cover the hub. And then we can see what it looks like, right? It's only a 50 grand referendum, which would allow me to lead the project, really focus on this, not just do design, but actually network with all of the people in the space and do it the right way. Because we only have one shot at this, right? I mean, we should make sure that it's really done correctly. And that's what I want to do. So, yeah.
So my comment, Flez, is about the messaging, and you said this off the top. You said that what we're selling is resilience. And I think these concepts are developing quite quickly. But at this point, I'd have to say that that messaging and that idea, it's very stuck in this idea of Web3 developers trying to push a vision onto the mainstream. Because if like you said, the thing we're selling is resilience. Well, if you're selling something, it means there's a need for it. But I don't think enterprises have any real need for resilience.
I mean, tell that to Elon Musk, right? Tell that to TikTok whenever they were going through all the issues. I mean, there's going to be world events that happen in our lifetime, whether it happens next year or 6 years, right? Like, it's going to happen.
Very philosophical, very difficult to get a company to shell out hundreds of thousands of dollars or whatever it costs to protect against some black swan event in the future. I think
keep in mind.
Just let me finish. I think much better messaging is, and what we're actually selling is a verification machine. And so what these enterprises have is they have little pockets of truth embedded in their operations, which is costing them money. And what we offer is, little pockets of trust, yeah. But what we offer is a truth alternative. This is what they're doing for VBrick. This is what Mythical's doing for digital asset ownership. This is what Blue Sky is doing for self ownership of one's social graph. This idea of like we're selling resilience is a very Web3 concept that is not relevant to enterprises today. It's very, very hard to sell.
Correct. For the existing enterprises, correct. But there are going to be new startups that are building for Web3. And they're going to choose.
So this is totally different. This is a totally right. So this is a totally different target audience than enterprises.
Yeah,
you're talking about new age startups who want to protect against some future where they could be shut down. Resilience is not a problem for when it comes to mass adoption.
When you look at it, there's
only philosophically, only in our idealistic vision, it's a problem. But real world trying to sell things on the ground, it's not a problem. So it's not something that you can sell very easily. Resilience.
Right. The reason I brought that up is that, the narrative right now in X is that, hey, core time sales are so low. Like, do we need this, right? And that's because they're focused on the fact that, Polkadot is selling core space. That's what we're selling. That's like the idea. It's like, it's not working. It's not true, right? It's not selling, and the adoption's low because right now developers look at Polkadot and they think they would need to build for a blockchain. It's not accepting any type of application yet. So to your point, I sort of disagree. I think there's many enterprises out there that will not switch their entire stack to something like Polkadot right away. 100% agree. That said, if there are cloud services that are highlighted in a clear way that they could start to use and take advantage of and replace certain aspects of their tech stack, right, to add more resilience to their overall product, I think it's a no-brainer. Especially
I think if you open your mind a little bit, actually, you can tell the same story. It's just selling resilience is a bad idea. What is resilience? It makes no sense. But you can sell truth. You can say right now you're trusting Amazon to not shut down your website, but instead you don't have to trust anybody. That messaging is more relatable than selling like resilience, because nobody has a problem with resilience. Who's getting shut down?
Well, to be honest, there's a whole industry getting shut down from
like
censorship.
What?
Cannabis industry. There's thousands of companies right now that can't post on any social platform because they are literally being stopped. Like
if they're
it's
selling in,
censored,
in an illegal
no,
jurisdiction?
just talking about no. In America, there's plenty of states that are completely legalized. And so if you dig into that, those types of people can't even post right now without it being censored to oblivion.
So you're
So
building this website for the cannabis industry.
oh, you're twisting it.
No,
I'm
I'm
trying
not.
to.
I'm looking for very specific examples. I think this messaging is wrong.
That's fine. I'm just basing this off of what me and even Sean, has proposed the
I
same
think it's
concept.
evolved since Sean proposed it.
That's fair. And, that's why we're here. I'm open-minded. I want to talk with different groups. I want to see what the different, thought process is around this. And it's still new, right? This is a brand new concept. So it's not like we're set in our ways and I want to just do it this way. I'm just saying, that's where my thought process is right now. I think there's many people that think similar to me. I do see your point, but I just think that this depends on the user, right? There are different use cases for this. It's not going to be a one-size-fits-all solution.
Yeah. It sounds like Web3 trying to convince Web2 of something that is not relevant to them. All right, let's hear from Michael.
Yeah, so in my core day business with Republic, we still get exposed to quite a lot of different ecosystems outside of Polkadot. And if anyone who's ever spent any significant amount of time at a non-Polkadot conference, you start to, like, after a split second, start to get indoctrinated and you think, hey, this ecosystem's actually kind of cool. And then you take a step back and you realize, hang on a second, the whole reason why I was in doc was because of this reason, this reason, this reason. But for the normie who is coming into Web3 for the first time, the fact that they jump from Web2 to Web3, regardless of the ecosystem, is a big enough jump for them to stop digging right there. It's only once you've been in Web3 for a little while that you start like being able to differentiate between the different blockchain networks. And so, sorry, Flaze, this is not so much specifically about your ref per se, but I think about a narrative. Like, we probably need like to kind of understand what it is actually that we're trying to differentiate ourselves in now. Because for someone just going from Web2 to Web3, that's enough. And that's how you get so many people stuck in XRP, who has a blockchain with a CEO. So I think some differentiation points and some direction around this is very needed, and very needed. And there probably needs to be an overarching direction here.
Gotcha. Was that a question?
Yeah. Jay opened a good point there, and I think is how open are you? I mean, we're by approving these, we're giving you control of a voice, right? And an image and everything else, right? So it's like, how open are you to basically bring people who are marketers to really focus on how we basically target the cloud website? Are you open to get 4 or 5 marketers that are within the ecosystem that have a very clear idea of how to market things into giving you like feedback into that? Or are you just going to do it alone and basically just launch it and it will just we cannot change it or do anything? Or
no, we're never doing anything alone, Jose. You know that. So at the end of the day, it's going to be a community effort, right? I mean, this is something where it would be crazy for me to try to do this all by myself. I mean, no. This is going to be something where I'm going to work with the best teams in the space, the best developers, the best marketing people. I mean, the marketing bounty's there, right? But to be honest, that's phase 2. Phase 1 is essentially building the website. Now, obviously, there's some things that we have to include there from a marketing perspective, obviously. But even Sean has reviewed the website. He likes the direction. Obviously, we can tweak it, right? And get community feedback. I do build in public, so you can kind of see what's already there and leave feedback, and I'm happy to incorporate it. So, yeah.
So people can basically just ping you and say, hey, I'm a marketer, this is my experience, and I have an idea of where this can go, and basically just be part of the team, I guess, no?
Yeah, to be honest, I'm probably one of the easier people to reach. I mean, just reach out to me on X. I'm on the UX bounty team, right? So I'm already networking with all the different teams in the space, or trying to. It's still early, so I'm trying to get more involved with everybody.
Yeah, I think the consensus that needs to be created around how we portray the cloud website, it needs to be there. This is, we're in the central land, but we need some kind of check marks, checkpoints. And I think this could add that,
Totally.
it's the most important thing, like in my. take.
Yeah, and
right?
I think to do that correctly, it's like you have to build in public, right? You have to show people what you're thinking and get feedback and then incorporate it, right? And I think it's kind of the downfall of the current .com. It's like there's all these ideas and they just kind of go into limbo. It would be really nice to get things that are, added to the website quickly when new things are announced, right? And that's like something that I can definitely do pretty, like 100%. So, hey, Tommy. I think you're muted.
Yeah. I just want to observe that this discussion has quite some energy, and it feels to me like we all are interested in getting a solution like the one we're discussing. And I think it's also good to have alternative websites to Polkadot.com, because we know it moves at its own pace, which is not always the pace that we want. So I think we should be experimenting with websites that have good design. And to me, it seems Fles is a guy that you can at least reasonably discuss with. So yeah, final points for me.
Appreciate that a lot. Hey, Angela.
All right,
Hey there,
we're
just-
way over time, by the way, Nikos. We're not going to go over
I'll be
today,
really,
but we'll be
really
doing
fast. Really fast, because Jay made me think about something. The messaging around Polkadot Cloud, it was a given in my mind that would be something that maybe a group, including Sean, Jay, other people come up with you together, and that you would execute on the website. So if you could clarify that in the proposal, I think you'll get a lot more support, because that is really key. Making sure the benefit of it is we all need to be singing the same tune. And if we have this website, we can all sing the same tune. We have a go-to place, but the actual messaging of what it is should be a consensus decision.
100% agree with you. And to be honest, I did reach out to all these groups. Some of them are busy, right? Sean's busy. He cannot be a full-time advisor on this.
All right, let's go to Nikos real quick.
But I will, yes, for sure.
Yeah, thank you, Jay. Sorry for that. I agree with Angela, and she supported. She said exactly what I wanted to say. If, from my point of view, if I see a consensus across Parity, Web3 Foundation, big players of the ecosystem, and they all agree that this is the go-to for Polkadot Cloud, then I would applaud and support it 100%.
Yeah, like I said, if PDP wants to get involved, I would love to integrate that right into the cloud and work with them directly. So yeah, 100%.
Nice. Yeah, I just want to say again, as far as messaging goes, the builders have failed very badly for years to sell what they're building. This website is very attractive to everybody who's building, and it might pass for that reason. But please, we've done interviews with VBrick. We've done interviews with Gotham, who has actually built the technology for these enterprises. Listen to what they're saying, because these people are actually selling the tech. And although you can impress the people who are building the tech and get a proposal through, actually selling the tech is the goal here. So just listen to them and see if it changes what you're thinking here.
I'm an open book, Jay. I agree.
Check it out. Check it out. Okay,
100%.
now the guys at the bottom of the call who are trying to get attention, not paying attention to the call, what do you guys want to say?
We just would like to inform you that we have a prize from NBX, and it's like a prize for Polkadot fastest growing community.
Nice. Who gave that to you?
Excuse me?
Who gave that to you?
We received this during the NBX Warsaw on the officer conference. This is like, this fastest growing community reward from the NBX organizers.
That's now we're gonna have to do something where we mail it around the world and everybody gets to have it for a week.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like, we can push this forward to, I don't know where, OpenGov or whatever, but it is.
Congrats, guys. Nice work.
Thank you, guys. Have a great time.
Bye-bye.
Good luck out there, guys. Thanks for repping.
Awesome.
All right, Fez, that was a pretty diverse discussion there. We gave you lots and lots of time because you only have this one week left here. What do you think? What do you think on your way out?
I appreciate the time today, guys and girls. And so, at the end of the day, like I said, I just want everybody to know this is like a group effort. It's not going to be something where it's like you guys fund this and then it's hard to reach me. So let's just make this happen, and then let's maybe set up some calls afterward if you're interested in working on this.
Nice. Great, buddy. Nice to have you on the show. Thanks very much.
Yeah, likewise. Appreciate it.
All right, we're going to roll on now to a discussion. Thanks for waiting, guys. Oh, we got Bit Basil back. So we saw a proposal from you folks previously, maybe 6 months ago, or I don't know. I don't know what time is anymore. But here you are back for 316,000 proposal. Yeah, why don't you lay it out? What's up? Oh, let's go.
I'm just going to tee up a quick intro, Jay. So Dennis Belkovich from Truelarts has appeared on AAG multiple times when the first round of proposals went through, I believe in November. Scott Spiegel from BitBasil, who is the CEO, is appearing on AAG for the very first time today. So let's welcome him.
Welcome.
And I'm going to let the two of them talk about the current status of this.
Yeah, can you go full screen on that slideshow there? Nice. All right, take it away, folks.
All right, guys. Thank you, James. Very interesting discussion. This is my first AAG, so I love how open this community is. I haven't really seen this from other blockchain ecosystems, so we're excited to dive in full steam into Polkadot. But my name is Scott Spiegel. I'm the founder and CEO of BitBasil. BitBasil is the leading Web3 art community in the United States, based out of sunny Miami, Florida. Personally, also, I was the founder of the Blockchain Center Miami in 2018, which you can learn more about in our Netflix documentary, Banking on Bitcoin, which highlights our origins from 2013 in New York.
All right.
And then my friend Dennis is here too.
What's
Dennis,
oh.
Is he on mute? Maybe he's on mute.
Oh, Dennis. All right, Dennis is out.
You know, doing
Sorry.
Hey, what's up, man?
I'm here. Yeah, thank you. I'm happy to return back again. That was quite a nice experience of collaborating with you 4 months ago. So we've mastered our skills, and after months of community feedback, Truelarts and BitBasil have refined our approach. We shaped our proposal that strengthens creator adoption, transaction volume, and ecosystem sustainability. Well, we all know that between January and December 24, Polkadot's monthly transactions surged from 20 million to 60 million. Daily active addresses tripled, and also Polkadot set a new NFT minting speed record, nearly 5,000 NFTs per minute. So that surpasses previous benchmarks by Solana and Polygon. And in other words, Polkadot has built an exceptional blockchain infrastructure for digital assets, but adoption, as we all know, depends on engagement. And now comes the real challenge, activating both sides of the market, supply and demand. So we are here today to introduce a structured, action-driven solution that not only brings artists, collectors, and but also investors into Polkadot Web3 space at scale. Scott?
Yeah. So as Dennis said, this isn't just about education. This is really turning knowledge into real scale, market growth, and real revenues on chain. So, we have a very high selection criteria. We want to bring in artists that have proven sales records in the fine art history. And then when we talk about collectors, we're really talking about, high net worth individuals. We're also talking about corporate executives in the marketing department at mainstream brands that are looking to implement NFT solutions. And if you can go to the next slide, Dennis. And like I said, we have a highly selective application criteria. So, what's a little different about this proposal from the last one is that we're doing a hybrid approach, which was really recommended. So most of these sessions will be hosted in Miami, Florida. And we're going to be having a select number of artists that we're going to be incubating inside of these classes in Miami. So we really expect these incubated artists to really outperform and lead to the highest amount of sales from this group. And on the collector side, we're educating about the next generation of NFTs, I guess what you're calling NFTs 2.0, which also the Unique Network is pushing forward. And what we see as NFT 2.0 is real world assets, blending NFTs with decentralized finance or NFTFi, and really also blending consumer perks and benefits into NFTs for extra utility for collectors. Here are our KPIs. Here's a few of them. We have a whole list of, I think, 25 of them, but our top one is right there in the middle. We're estimating $468,000 of on-chain revenue as a result of the projects from this program. And on top of this, we want to contribute 3% back to the Treasury. Our success needs to be the Treasury's success. So we're excited to be able to propose that model, which I think is very unique to the Polkadot Treasury, which is incomparable to other blockchains. And why us? We'd like to say there's a lot of reasons, but one thing I'd like to highlight here, like I said from the last proposal, is this hybrid approach. And we're here and we've been really working with James and Polkadot because Polkadot was really the first and only blockchain to really make an investment in Miami and South Florida and the whole state of Florida with their Inter-Miami deal. And the great thing about these sponsorships and BD is that they have knock-on effects. And doing this program as well will have knock-on effects. We expect, we already have a lot of support, as you'll see, from universities, institutions, governments, local governments, state governments, enterprises, local startup communities, and just putting this out there. Me and James, we hang out, at least a few times a week. We'll be making sure to onboard all these projects onto Polkadot.
Yeah, Scott has mentioned the word program for a certain number of times. So what is this program about? It's designed for real world adoption. From the one hand, artists learn how to mint, monetize, and navigate Web3 tools, including and mostly focusing on brand activations, collaborations with brands. And on the other side, collectors master their NFT valuation, investment strategies, and cross-chain opportunities. I should also say that this program is a unique one because there have been a lot of attempts to create artist-focused program and collectors-related program, but no one has ever decided to and was brave enough to combine two in one. And we have tested this on the both Web3 and Web2 art markets top voices, and they said, yes, this is the thing that the world needs. Yes, and as soon as I'm also responsible for part of the program, so we have gathered an unmatched lineup of experts, leaders in their spheres, from Christie's, ArtNet, PEDAF, of course, Bitbuzzle and Fuel Arts, because the best way to drive adoption is by learning from those who have done it before. So those people have proven traction in Web3. And Scott?
Yeah, just quickly, I think this slide answers that question. This will be for the Asset Hub, but we are getting tons of support from the Unique Network, which, their NFT SDK is really being utilized on the Asset Hub. So, these are our confirmed partners so far. The University of Florida, the flagship program there, we stood up their blockchain lab 5 years ago underneath their arts department. Sotheby's, the Sagamore Hotel, which is the art hotel, where we'll be showcasing a lot of these artworks. And as I said, we've been talking with Charu from the Unique Network, and I think her excitement was that we're really tackling this art vertical, which is a $1.7 trillion asset class, $100 billion a year industry, and really no blockchain has really taken it by the horns. And Bitbuzzle and Fuel Arts are the best position to do that, and Polkadot, kind of going to market here in North America, is primed to do that as well.
Yeah, so and our roadmap is quite clear and structured from May to December, May for preparations, and from June to December we'll have education, hackathons, and real world implementation. We're requesting funding amounting to 316,000 USDT. It's allocated strategically across development, mentorship, events, and marketing. Scott, the closing word.
That's it. I mean, thank you. Thanks for having us. We look forward to the feedback. This is a discussion proposal right now. We'll be back here, if you allow us, Jay, every week to defend our proposal, share updates. We have a lot of updates up our sleeve that we haven't announced yet, and we'll be updating that along the line. Thanks.
Yeah, very welcome to come back. All right, what do we think about this? Any comments or questions on this? Go ahead, Jose.
Yeah, as I just wrote down, I mean, I love the project. I think, artists are basically they will just flock into it. Now, we have the opportunity. You have the opportunity with these, to create more like traffic for coffee shops. I mean, you're in a coffee shop, you have an art collection that is NFT combined. The coffee shop is getting traffic because, collectors are going there to get the NFT and the piece as they buy the NFT. We need to start thinking like that, right? Like, it's just not one focus. We need to focus way more, right? And I think this kind of thing will enhance your product, right? So, we want to see these more of these, right? I mean, there is so many ways we can skin that cat, right?
Could you be one of our mentors, Jose? Because your approach matches our vision a lot. And I remember our conversation 4 months ago when you said startups are good, but artists might be better. So we revisioned our proposal also based on your suggestion and advice.
It's beautiful. Thanks, man. Just call me, involve me, whatever. I'm all in.
So this is really like an art accelerator. You're going to help artists launch on chain. Is that basically what we're doing here, right?
Correct. Not just digital artists, painters, right? Really bringing in that real world asset play into the picture.
It's cool. And what you mentioned, you said there'd be some revenue for Polkadot. What does that look like? Or is that revenue for your company? And what's that whole structure look like?
The revenue is going to the artists, but the artists that join our program, 3% of all primary sales will be going back to the Treasury.
Okay. And then just to clear up, are you going to mint these on Unique, or was it somewhere else? Or is that just Charu's just an advisor? What's the strategy?
Advisor, and really it seems the strategy is to focus on the asset hub. Have these assets be on the asset hub.
Yeah.
Unique has their SDK that interacts with that.
Yeah. Okay. I'm glad to hear about that. That's good. Okay, let's hear from Angie.
Yeah, I want to dig in more on the mechanics and the model, but I love the fact that this is in Florida, and given James's commitment to, all things Florida, I'm really excited about it. But I would like to do a follow-up call because I just want to make sure I understand the flow of funds.
Love to.
Sweet, Tommy.
So recently I've been pondering a lot about the NFT space because back in the Kusama days, we had like a really vibrant and interesting community, and it was a lot of fun. And then it sort of was dying off. So I think we need an initiative like this. The missing part for me is, and I think this is more on our side, is what is actually our strategy overall for the art space. And I feel like, at least for myself, I don't have a good model of how we should get that done. If your proposal gets approved, I think this would also be a very important thing for us to figure out together. Like what's Polkadot's unique edge that we can offer. And I think, for example, what we have with Unique and Coda, that we should just pull together the resources that we have and better figure this out.
Thank you, Tommy, for your question. As I said, we have spent 2 last months in discussions with Charo and Alexander and several other top voices from the Polkadot community. And the program, the vision that you're talking about, that will be a natural part of our outcomes. Because as we said, and as we all know, Polkadot is prepared to become the blockchain #1 for arts, and the place for the throne for that title is still empty. So why not Polkadot, and why not Fuel Arts and Bitbuzzer?
Yeah, Angie.
I was just going to say, we are bringing on a 3D artist. Knock on wood, it hasn't. We need to get it through this week, but we've been talking about it a lot, and we think we're close. And the idea is that we would have 3D avatars for the whole Polkadot community that are kind of uniform and really cool. And I think we could do a lot in gaming in terms of collaboration with art. So that's why I just wanted to understand. I totally agree with Tommy. I just don't know what the big picture is here. So it'd be good to know kind of strategy, model, go to market, all of that. And then we could fit into that. Because just each of the bounties, each of the verticals probably has some angle in art to fit into that overall strategy.
And Angie, just to add on to that comment, like because you and I are so close anyway, like all of that is part of all of our thinking that has been happening around not only this proposal, but with Scott and Bipazzle and Jewel Arts and where we see both Miami and North America going around all of these creative arts. I think we have a very clear idea of where we would like to see Polkadot go. And if we don't have that existing strategy today, we want to be part of that conversation to craft that strategy together. So in addition, like we've also spent a lot of time with Spencer on the music side of things, right? Next week is Miami Music Week. We've got the whole Polkadot Mega Week thing happening with like 14 events happening in the next over 5 days. So there's a lot happening here around creative arts, and we are trying hard to make Polkadot have all of it right on Polkadot Tech.
That's right. I'll say one quick thing. BitBasel, we also have a whole entire multi-chain Bitcoin ordinals marketplace built out. And I've been talking with James, like and Sharu, how can we move this over to Polkadot? What's the best strategy? But we were recommended to get this program going first, introduce ourselves to the community. But this isn't just a marketing play, which is just as half, or if not more important. But we also have a whole entire technical team ready to bring tools to the art world.
Pretty good. Okay, let's have some more discussion, and yeah, you're welcome back every week, guys. Let's see how this can develop.
Thanks.
Yeah, it's great.
Thank you, Jay. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you very much. All right, we're gonna move on now. Looks like Tommy's faffling here. Deploy idle treasury capital into .v liquidity, buy BTC, ETH, mint hauler, get it all done. How much are we talking here, Tommy?
$10 million.
Oh, 10 million. Looking to put these idle assets to work. This is what we need.
Yeah.
Why don't you break it down for us here?
Yeah. So it's a discussion starter. So I'm putting out values so that we have something specific to discuss. And we have to say this in advance. This is balance sheet neutral, right? So this is basically juggling around cash, diversifying, deploying it. But it's still available for the treasury in the future if it wants to use it. But the main idea is that Polkadot has sort of around $100 million in TVL all across the ecosystem. And I think we should pump those numbers. I think we need to make sure that the DeFi ecosystem is growing. And so these are the ideas that have been collected over the last few weeks, months. So I'm going to start with these ones. Some people have pushed the idea to buy Bitcoin for the treasury, to buy ETH for the treasury. So I'm putting out those ideas. I've had a discussion with Jakub from Hydration, and he thinks very highly of TBTC and LBTC. So that's Lambert BTC and Threshold Network BTC. So these can be discussions. What kind of BTC would actually be good for Polkadot to buy? The same with ETH. There could also be a discussion about buying strategic ETH tokens, depending on how much alignment we want to show with Ethereum, or if there's maybe opportunities to have strategic partnerships in the future with certain protocols. So putting that out for discussion. And I've attached values like $1 million for BTC, $1 million for ETH and strategic projects. So we can talk about that. So that's one segment. And then the other segment is adding liquidity. So Bifrost is doing fairly well. They're also expanding now, I think, via Hyperbridge to other ecosystems. And VDOT is a very popular product. It's also very popular on Hydration. And there was also just this OpenGov proposal approved, the DeFi Singularity. It's this collaboration between Bifrost and Hyperbridge to incentivize DOT and VDOT liquidity on 4 other chains. So the idea is also to improve VDOT liquidity, especially for hydration and also for the liquidity pool of VDOT and DOT on Bifrost. Then Hydration is going to launch Hola in, I don't know, a few weeks, a few months, which is a Polkadot native stablecoin. And so the interesting thing is because it is built on Hydration, and because Hydration has a lot of customizability, you can do a lot in creating custom angles, custom incentives, custom structures for different ways and how new Hola is minted. It would be an interesting savings product. Maybe the treasury wants to pay out in Hola in the future as a native stablecoin to reduce risk to external factors. And so launching this initial wave of liquidity for Hola is going to be hugely important. So maybe lending $1 million into a lending market and then minting Holler against it on a conservative loan-to-value ratio would be a good idea. And then also Hydration is launching Gigadot as a product that is sort of a mix of V dot and A dot. So the dot that is lent into a money market. So there's a lot of combinations that could be leveraged here to increase the overall liquidity. And the more liquidity you have in a market, the more volume we are also inviting. And I think Hydration is on a very good trajectory right now, up and to the right. And so supporting them as much as possible, supporting our winners in the ecosystem, I think is very important. So that would be my suggestion. Again, $1 million for V dot, $1 million for Holler, and then maybe $1 million for Gigadot or some other ideas. So in total, we have $5 million. And then last part of the forum post is there is a need for more stable coins. So I think the Treasury is running dry on stable coins. So again, launching new stablecoin acquisition campaigns for USDC, USDT right now would also be a good idea. So maybe putting $2.5 million in each of those, and then we would be totaling at $10 million. It is a discussion starter. Why? Last year, the Treasury was already venturing into different, like giving loans, providing liquidity, providing incentives. And I think it would be really good if we have a holistic concept, if we look everything as a whole, and if we sort of can negotiate between those factors so that we can see what are our priorities. So this is the opening of that.
All right, sounds very good. Thank you, Tommy. Now, hey, Lee, are you there?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you are also looking at the DCA portion of this for stablecoins. This is already being looked at. This doesn't all have to happen in one big ref, right, Tommy? This can happen. Yeah.
Yeah, it's more like a framework.
Yeah. A framework. Oh, okay. So Limo, you're kind of already approaching this, are you?
Yes, I made a group with a bunch of people that are interested in stablecoin acquisition. I think you are in there as well. The Hydration team are working on the proposal and the call.
Perfect.
It's basically converting, renewing the schedule presented in proposal 457, which converts $2.5 million into USDT and $2.5 million into USDC, with some added bits, I think.
Yeah, great. We might go through the A dot or something like that, right?
Yeah, I'm guessing in the next day or two it'll be fleshed out and shared with more people. But definitely we need to initiate another DCA.
Cool, sounds good. Okay, so that's on the way, Tommy. And you also and all these other ideas. V dot, Holler's a big idea. That's a very interesting one. BTC already popular. We know from the Wish for Change. So I don't know. I'm behind you here.
I think the interesting thing would also be to figure out if people. It's more like pushing the idea to check for disagreements and say, I don't know, maybe we missed something or someone wants to push themselves in the foreground, right? So and so I think creating a little bit of FOMO between whoever wants to push out their idea right now is the best point in time to get out your idea, because it's also intended to sort of harden the existing ideas and see if there's any pushback, because if not, we can just move forward with the individual, right?
Yeah.
So you don't even need a wish for change. I think it's more like having this debate and negotiation right now. And if there is no pushback, then we can sort of assume that we can move forward with the individual ideas.
Sounds very good. All right. Any other comments on this? All good? Cool. All righty. Hey, before we go to this week's House of Shame, which is going to be something you don't want to miss. It's hard to look at, but you can't look away sort of situation. We want to talk about the Wish for Change that we were playing with on the Monday show. This is KSM RFP number 1, Shielded Kusama Hub Transfers. Kind of dragging us through this because I think we should figure out this RFP, kind of the rules of the game by playing the game. And this, if you missed it, is based on a discussion post from folks who wanted to implement an EVM ZK, a ZK EVM based shielded asset product. They wanted to do this on Moonbeam originally, and they only had one individual who also was very close to the team as the sort of arbiter of these funds. So those were two things that I thought, weren't so great for the Kusama DAO. Maybe we could take this scope and tweak it slightly, as well as provide a little bit more oversight, which is what we did here to create this RFP. So this RFP has a prize pool that's a little bit bigger than the spend that they were suggesting. So 43,000. There's a $2,000 finder's fee for anybody who brings the answer to the RFP, and supervisors, the people on the multi-sig or people off the multi-sig who just have the expertise. There's $5,000 set aside for that. We had, as far as supervisors go, now this is a tricky one because some people may not want to be on here, but we do have some bold people. James Slusser has volunteered to be on it. Berto was nominated, but he's declined. Erin, we still haven't heard from her, but she's aware of this RFP. And Flipchan was the person who was suggested in the original discussion. Now, I think we're going to put this on chain on Monday. Hey, Limo, you think that sounds about right?
Potentially.
Do you think we'll be able to one-shot a bounty here? Do you think we have the call data to make this happen?
We now have the skills and abilities to use chopsticks properly, so I reckon we can give it a good go.
We can give it a okay, nice. Yeah. Hopefully my volume is better there. Sorry guys. Bit of a new setup today. Okay, sounds good. Let's see. Let's check out the comments here. Just updating it. We're not going to spend too much time on this, but we have Allison Bob, Blow and Smoke. Great initiative. Thank you, Tommy, for your comment here. Appreciate this. We have Luke is wondering, what's going to go on with the legal bounty. I don't think the legal bounty applies to Kusama, but thank you, Luke. And then here's Flipchan talking. So he seems to be in support of this approach as well. Mr. Cole responding to Luke, saying that it doesn't really look in the scope of the legal bounty. Berto turning down his nomination. And then we have D-Wolf here saying he'd like to try his hand at the supervisor track. I think there's a little bit of a misunderstanding here, but possibly we have another supervisor here. Then he goes on in another comment, just talking general ideas. Sometimes people just throw a lot of ideas at the wall and see what sticks. But anyway, D-Wolf is in Kustau, so maybe we can get some clarification on what he's saying here. But if anybody wants to be on this bounty and distribute funds as the project gets built, that would be great. There's a little bit of a reward here for you, and shouldn't be too hard. I think it'll work out. Any comments on this, Lee? Anybody?
Yeah. So I posted something on Twitter about like more privacy related stuff. So like
yeah, it seems like everybody
account
wants
balances, transfers, and voting. I was reminded, like we mentioned on the Monday show, Incognity does exist, and I would hope that people watching try and use Incognity because I'm planning to like give it a go tonight or tomorrow.
Yeah.
Seems to do this like shielded transactions thing. So gonna give that a go. Yeah.
Yeah. The only thing is Incognity uses TEEs. And on the whole spectrum of privacy, TEs are not quite as private as CK. I think that's the main difference there. But they basically have that built already. That's true.
Yeah, for me, the goal is on Kusama to have something like Monero or Zcash.
Yeah.
So if I sent you 1XMR, you know that you've received 1XMR from me, right? But you don't know how much XMR I have, and nobody else can really understand that I've sent you 1XMR, right? So it's like that transaction is private between me and you. Now, there's a lot of difference on how like Monero works compared to stuff. It's like ring signatures and all this kind of stuff. But there's people like Amir Taki and all this kind of people that are building these kind of things on an EVM. So to me, it's we should explore this direction. We have funds to do cool shit, and this is some cool shit that I think we should do.
Maybe we could get Amir on this bounty.
I believe he's friends with Dr. Woods, so there's a potential there.
Here's the thing about this RFP. So I put at the top, this is a canary. This is true. This is just an experiment. RFPs are, an idea right now. This may come down to a situation where the only supervisor that we get is Flipchan, and then it basically ends up being the initial proposal anyway. I'm prepared for that to happen, but it's a good experience anyway to try. It's like trying RFPs on hard mode. Like, let's start with something dodgy like privacy and See what we get.
Privacy is not dodgy.
Privacy is not dodgy. It's essential.
This is what all the Monero people tell you. It's so that you don't get $5 interest tax when you buy something. It's not for money laundering. Okay, it's for actual stuff. You can then potentially use it to obfuscate stuff from law enforcement, but you shouldn't do that.
I saw a tweet earlier this week, and it said, "This is why crypto privacy has failed, because there's crypto payments have failed because there's no privacy." It's like if this vision of like I go and I tap my wallet and I get a coffee. Well, now the barista in my neighborhood knows how much I have. Now they know my entire financial situation. How can you have a payment? It's so true. How can you have payments without privacy?
Yeah, this is like in my tweet, I mentioned this live streamer that recently got held at gunpoint because someone found out how much crypto they have.
Yeah.
And I think I mentioned like the pizza delivery guy thing, but it's like, for example, let's say that you're in a country that's maybe got some crime problems, and you want to buy something at the corner shop, and you tap to pay or whatever you want to scan a QR code to send tokens. Well, they can then check your account, and then next time you go in the grocery store, what if they like lock the doors and anything can happen, right? It's like if I buy something at Walmart in the US, like the cashier doesn't know how much money I have on my debit card, right? But they know that I've like paid them.
Yeah.
They don't need to know how much money that I actually have, right?
Sounds dangerous.
Now, if I then wear like a really fancy watch and then someone robs me, that's my problem. But like paying for a product or a service and then getting robbed because someone finds out how much money you have is kind of cringe,
Totally. Yeah. All right. So that's Well, we were talking about this last night. We had our third East Toronto meetup here, and we had a big conversation about privacy there. A lot of smart people in here. Here I am onboarding 4 people using Nova Wallet and Wood. Got 4.2 million Wood, and boy, oh boy, did we have a good time here. That was a lot of fun. People had a good experience with Nova there, Limo, by the way. Fairly painless.
Awesome. I'm talking to a few people about like ways to improve Nova, mainly for this like payments thing.
Yeah.
There's like a lot of people, especially in like LATAM, doing a lot of cool stuff. So yeah, hopefully there'll be some improvements on like this paying part, which would be really good if you then had private transactions. Be really, really nice.
Absolutely. Now, something odd just happened. 1462. Did you say House of Pain we're doing on Ref 1462? Maybe we sent out the wrong link.
178.
Oh, 178. Okay, we got.
I'll send the OG tracker in the chat as well.
Did somebody want to talk about Pappy today? Nikos, did you want to talk about Pappy?
No, I can if you want me to. But...
No. I mean, not that I don't want you to. I just got a little confused in the show here. What we actually wanted to talk about for House of Shame. Okay, everybody, welcome to House of Shame, the part of the show where we look at our past failures and hope to make less of them in the future. Today, we're going to talk about, and we want to be delicate about this, because this project was relaunched and it's very successful. However, this particular ref, we should all hang our heads in shame. This is ref 178.leap2. Let's grow. And this was for 37,851 dot. This went to dot leap editor, who I believe was Mr. Bruno Schwark. And why don't you walk us through here, Limo? What happened? 54.4% in favor of the pass. So it's not like we were totally walking into this without any reservations, but it did end up passing. And Lee, why don't you take it away here and let us know what happened?
We cast our mind back to the world before the Decentralized Voices program, when a single whale was in control of the Treasury and didn't listen to anybody about social capital or anything like that. Ooh. And they would just stuff randomly.
You're talking about 16 BG here.
Yeah, talking about 16 BG, whatever that is.
Memories,
16
man.
BG.
Yes.
So yeah, this was, quite the expensive proposal for a newsletter. Now, newsletters, for example, Tommy does like a quarterly report. These kind of things that are like monthly, weekly, quarterly. Some people really like them, right? They don't have the time to be on crypto Twitter all day. They want to get like the highlights of what's gone on. So there is some benefit in a newsletter, especially when it's done well, it's curated properly, and it has relevant information. Now, this referendum, if you scroll down to fee and payment terms, it just seemed to be a lot of money for certain things. So like AI integration and stuff like this and ad spend. Now, a lot of this newsletter previously was like copy pasting stuff off of Twitter, copy pasting ref gone by.
It was a collator.
And then like, yeah. So it felt like this was probably a bit too expensive for the scope of what this is. And I mean, you can see Chaos Style did near this and leave some feedback. Now, this gets into another conversation of like social capital and reputation. So Bruno obviously has been in the eco a while, or was in the eco a while. I think he's now at Base or something like that, or Polygon or something. But then it's okay, you've been in the eco a long time, but then are you just constantly footing and constantly like aggressive and sort of weird? And it just felt weird that somebody with that mindset was making a newsletter that was supposed to be kind of unbiased, you know?
Yeah.
So then if you go to the OG tracker and then go to the progress tab, you can see the website development is flagged because it didn't get done. The AI features integration got flagged because it didn't get done. And I mean, I think it did like 6 posts of the newsletter before just leaving it. Something really low. It was definitely not like a year's worth. So it's kind of weird. And this guy, as far as I know, has not sent the bot back, and now works for, I think someone said Ethereum Foundation. I mean, sorry, it was
Is
at
it
Polygon
EF
before.
or Polygon? Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
So it just seems very weird, very strange.
We also, and I know he left the project some time ago, but also saw Remark just went under as well. Which earlier in the show we were talking about that NFT, beautiful NFT time we had about 4 years ago. It was so much fun, and that was all because of Remark, but wasn't able to turn it into something
Problem
sustainable.
is, newsletters could be good, right? There is genuine use cases for newsletters. For example, Build is his daily digest, which gives you like, you know, a few snippets of information.
Wag Media has
They are,
theirs.
yeah, exactly. They are good. It's just, should we be spending $38,000 almost on a newsletter?
Dude.
It's just a bit ridiculous.
Please.
Now, if the person that's took it over comes with a smaller request and they can show that they've been doing it and it's a lot better quality wise, then you know, maybe we can give them some funds. But I don't think it'd be anywhere close to $38,000. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Hey, Tommy.
I think you guys are way too nice with Bruno here. Okay, so Bruno was a respected builder and I would say respected guy in the ecosystem that had a lot of great ideas and built a lot of great stuff.
That's true.
And he has been running this newsletter for some time quite successfully. Okay, he makes this proposal and then disappears, which can happen. Sometimes you want to do a project and you cannot finish it. But like this guy exists and he is doxed and he has an identity. He's working as DevRel for Polygon right now. Okay, you can reach him, you can ask him, and I've been commenting, like I've commented under his posts multiple times on Twitter and asked, hey, what about the money? If you cannot finish the project, do you want to return it? He never commented on this, and he saw the tweets because he made a statement recently that the newsletter is now happening and he handed it to someone, right? So he obviously wants to keep the money and deliver on this project way too late. Right, but there is still nothing happened. So it's not a priority to fix it. It's not a priority for him to return the money. And I think we should make it very clear that he does this intentionally, and he is very well aware of the situation.
But let me say real quick, because Moonbear, I'm going to throw it to you a sec, but you just pointed out like Gabachi took over the newsletter. But when he took over the newsletter, he specifically said he's going to be doing it for free to build the reputation of the newsletter back up and then ask for funds later. So it doesn't sound like that those funds, at least at that time, there was any talk of transferring them over. He just picked up the brand.
Gabachi, so he's probably picked up because the newsletter does have subscribers, right?
Right.
So it's like easier to take over like an existing thing with subscribers than start your own thing.
Yeah, he just took the brand. There you go. Yeah.
If I was Gabachi, I would try and make sure you distance from Bruno. Personally, I don't really like Bruno myself, but this kind of behavior seemingly is a bit sus, right? Allegedly sus.
Moonbarino.
Oh, I just wanted to bring in the information, and basically I just put it in the chat. So please continue.
Thank you very much. Yeah, no, that's an important piece to add there. Because I mean, the newsletter is actually pretty good again, but it's just because Gabachi took it up. Anyway, yeah, LV in the chat is saying that we're wrong. Bruno's actually just a misunderstood artist. I think he's just an antagonist who couldn't take it all the way by himself. And so he hopped onto a nice salaried position in another ecosystem. Yeah, LV's coming onto this chat. LV, what's up, dude? Nice to see you too. All right, that's House of Shame, everybody. Ouch. Oh, boo, boo. It is, well, sorry, before we go, I just want to take a walk down memory. The comments here just brings you way back. These are people who, we recognized a lot back then. Obviously, Alexander Mitrovic is still around, but, there's Batman with a strong nay. Cryptos Chain, that's an I. Cryptos Chain is an I there. Adam, what's that?
Adam Stever.
Adam Stever's in the house here, sharing his perception. Ivy, hi Dotleap editor, Ivy in the fray here as well. Hey, I wonder if that's a House of Shame we could talk about soon, as the Glove Project. Remember that? Delegate, early Delegate abstained there. Delegate? No, Delegate. Abstained there. And Chaos DAO, as you said, had a few words as well. So that's House of Shame, everybody. Thank you for coming. Thank you for being part of OpenGov. We're going to make mistakes, because what we're doing here is so damn cool. Sometimes you break a leg, sometimes you break a wrist, but we got to keep going. We're going to look at just a few refs that we've spoken about recently. Polk Assembly doing a lot better still, 80% in favor with about a week remaining. Or no, it looks like it's going to pass in a week. So that's very good. It's going to enter confirmation in about 3 days. So congratulations to them. If all continues as is, and just retroactive compensation for the contributors to the Polkadot ecosystem. This is Raul and Otar. Enjoying 90% support right now, looking to enter confirmation in 3 days. Still just Saxonburg on the nay side there, sticking to their guns. Don't like retroactive payments, but that's called consensus, baby. 90% in favor despite that. Looking at the confirming refs today, Limo, your beer money tip right there. And we also have the
Already confirmed, mate. Already grifted.
It's approved.
So
Zipped right through, buddy. Zipped right through. All right, drinks on you. Sounds very nice. And this is where it came up earlier. The Polkadot API 2025 development funding through Polkadot Community Foundation. Through the Polkadot Community Foundation. What? Development funding through Polkadot Community Foundation. What does this mean? Do you see this? 1462. So many of you know.
That's a Cayman?
So what? This money's going to them, and then they're giving it to Pappy?
I don't know.
I have a feeling that isn't there like specific ways you have to title refs and stuff for them to execute upon them?
Tommy doesn't even want to be part of this conversation. He got the hell out of
there. So like Tommy's wish for change that he did, right? So it's 1416.
Yeah.
It starts with Polkadot Community Foundation, : and then something. I have a feeling in the bylaws it maybe says you have to do that. I'll double check. I don't want to be chatting a load of nonsense. I think it does give you guidelines. And is it the... Because this address should have all the centrifuge money in it. So if we go to it on Subscan, it should have like 1.5 million in it.
All right.
Which that's Polkadot. Let me go to this asset hub.
Polkadot hub.
Because if you remember, the PCF does still have that centrifuge money.
Apparently, yeah.
I don't think it has. Autonomous projects. Yeah, I don't know. I wish that team the best of luck of getting the PCF to pay for stuff. And I'm looking forward to the $20,000 referendum to pay for legal fees for that as well.
That's interesting. I don't know why would we do this structure? Why don't we just pay them? This is a
It's
team of trusted people, no?
Yes, I don't want to talk about that team specifically, but in general, some teams are in jurisdictions where the money needs to come from a legal entity.
Oh, okay.
Oh no, it does say
Where does it say?
once referendum is approved,
Yeah.
the PCF and Polkadot API team will go through the following process: contracts for agreements, KYC, KYB, invoice will pay the fee. Oh, and they've allocated $7,000 for legal and operational costs.
Whew.
Okay, so it sounds like maybe they've already spoke to them actually. So no FUD, no
No.
FUD.
I don't want no FUD. Yeah, Nikos, what's up, bro?
Yeah, I don't know the situation, what's going on with the puppet team, and why. Like, I didn't even realize when I was reading their proposal that it's gonna be through Polkadot Community Foundation. But I can vouch for the guys that they are like decent people. So there will be no,
Oh, the guys are
tricks
decent people.
going on
Yes,
here.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
I will ask them,
Hmm.
and we'll see.
It's more about. I'm worried more about them, to be honest. The PCF isn't the most
Yeah, that's
agile organization so far. So
that's why I want to ask them, not
yeah,
for like finding out what's going on, but like letting them know, like, are you sure? Kind of.
yeah. Well, we're confirming right now, so we just let that one slip right through. I didn't even realize. Okay. What else? Anything else we want to talk about before we wrap up the show? Been a good one. This is kind of an interesting one. Register Polkadot native assets on Ethereum. Now, Alistair put this one up, but then I think tried to cancel it, all this stuff like that. The original list was a bit wacko. We had what was it, Equilibrium assets and stuff like this. Now we have Clara from the Fellowship and also from the Snowbridge team, Snowfork, putting it up herself. Lima, you got some context here for us.
Yes, from doing that thing I was speaking about earlier with USDC, USDT,
Yeah.
it seems bridged assets don't have metadata like on either side. It's like really strange.
Something like
so,
that.
so
Yeah.
like, yeah, so like if I bridge over ERC20 USDT to Polkadot, there's no metadata for it. So it's like kind of weird. So you have to set that, which is one of the things I'm going to try and do. But then it seems that Polkadot assets on the ERC or on the VM side on Ethereum also don't have metadata. So this
Yeah.
is just like trying to one bang most assets having metadata, right?
Yeah, I mean it's still an interesting list. So we do I mean we have the bangers, right? Let's talk about the bangers here. We have oh, I can't see anymore. What just happened to my Mamma mia. Let's go back around here. So boom. Oh yeah, so we have DOT, we have KSM, we have Glimmer, BNC, VDOT, HDX, Tier, Ayun, Polymec, Laos, Kilt, a Star, and then we have Sub, and Fala, and Parallel, and Crew, and Manta, and ACA, LDOT, and then we have Dead Pink, Coal, and Wood.
So
It's a
I
mixed
don't
bag.
think this is worth naming the ref for, but
No.
I think Parallel is abandoning their chain and is renamed to something else to try and
Manta's
avoid.
I think Manta's leaving too.
Well, Manta's closed Calamari
Yeah.
400 hours ago. Well, it's like 20 days ago.
Anyway,
yeah. I mean, it's not worth naming it over.
no
right?
harm done.
Like,
No harm done. No, it's just an interesting list is all. But it doesn't seem dangerous. Anything else? Oh yeah, we did talk about it. Oh, we got Nikos on the call too. But PBA resubmitted. Oh, actually, I thought it was resubmitted split, but it's resubmitted all USDT and tiered with the payout plan. So we have one immediately, another in 12 months and a half, and the other in 4.5 months. I think that's a
Yeah,
better way to do it.
we're trying, not to dry the treasury completely.
Thank
We
you.
thought it's a better way to go that way. No, it's you're welcome. No, yeah. So we got advice. We talked with some people, and we thought that's a better approach. And yeah, so far we have a okay support. Hope everything will be fine. And yeah,
Super stuff. How's prep going
we're planning.
for? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry for interrupting. We're planning to come on the next AAG with Pauline to talk about it a bit more. That's a promise. Preparation for Lucerne, we're getting ready, like starting next week. So, yeah.
I heard the Coos cameras are going to be there for some pretty epic live stream panels or something.
Absolutely, we love the course, and we're preparing some nice panels. And this time we're gonna be streaming them for everyone. And interesting subjects, not just jump that's all over the place, but also governance, regulatory things, nice things,
Big
lovely
time.
stuff.
Yeah. Well done. Okay, great. Hey, anything else we want to talk about? Lee, you got anything? Michael, you itching to talk about something? No.
Laura Shin's
I like
right.
Tommy's idea.
Honestly.
Yeah. You chucking some of those assets into the ring? Is that what you're saying? The $10 million thing?
Yeah, I like Tommy's idea.
Yeah.
Big fan. Be good to if we could start mixing it with Michael Saylor.
With what?
With Michael Saylor and his infinite money loop of just purchasing Bitcoin ad nauseum. Yeah, I'm a big fan of that idea.
Love it.
A lot of Bitcoiners don't even know that Polkadot has the ability to have Bitcoin derivatives on it, by the way. Like, I think I mentioned this on the show last week. When I was at the Polkadot booth at ETH Denver, the Threshold Network guys came up to me.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, how can we get Threshold TBTC on Polkadot? And I'm like, it's already on Polkadot, mate. And they're like, what? So I showed them it on Nova. And I was like, yeah, the hydration DAO owns like over $1 million of TBTC and like gonna add it to a money market and stuff. And they're like, holy shit, I had no idea. So we need to maybe promote the fact that you can swap. I'm cognizant that we're on the Polkadot account. You can swap into Bitcoin derivatives, ETH, Solana, Sui soon. I think there's Link, Sky, Lido, governance token. All these things you can do on Polkadot.
Yeah.
And we need to get those communities aware of that because it's probably a lot cheaper than trading on Ethereum.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. And knocking down those barriers is going to be great. Yeah, Michael.
I've noticed we are not mentioning IBTC anymore, so we're pretty done here, are we?
The problem with IBTC is
it's hard to use right
you
now.
you need you need to you need to over collateralize the vault. So then they started adding stuff like VDOT and stuff, so you didn't just have like idle dot. But nobody's spinning up new vaults because it seems to be not worth the risk or something, or just the faffing about. So you can't bridge Bitcoin to Polkadot properly. You can only go the other way, but the price of like IBTC is really high in like the Omni pool. So like I believe that's the whole point of swapping tokens for TBTC, and then hopefully we can like reset the vaults potentially, because I think most of the IBTC is in or was in the Omni pool. So
yeah, a shame.
One thing on Twitter, Mr. Lol McShares was flirting about this idea of a 22 billion wood strategic reserve for the hydration DAO.
I saw that. Yeah, I saw that.
It's crazy. It's because hydration's staking 400,000 DOT. And, it's to be used to buy core time, but I think at day staking rewards we could buy all of the cores. So it's have a lot of DOT transferable right now that is owned by the protocol.
Yeah. Let's fucking go. Oh, hey, I did a decent sized swap on hydration last week, and then that split trade button. So, split the trades, I don't know what it was, 8 different trades or something like that, saved me almost $90. It was crazy.
Oh, one thing we could talk about potentially is what Gavin was talking about on the dev show about the cores right now. There's not like elastic demand for them, and like a lot of teams like Hydration, for example, purchased a parachain lease slot right at the end, realizing that they were going to be deprecated. So you might as well get the 2-year lease and then bother with cores in 2 years' time when everybody else has sorted it out and it all works and stuff, right? And it was, well, hopefully at some point soon, these parachains or whatever you want to roll ups, whatever you want to call them, are going to be able to purchase more than one course, and it becomes like elasticized demand. So then that hopefully increases the core time sales, which will increase the price, right? Right now, not many people are buying cores, apart from people just buying them for the sake of them, especially on Kusama. And it's like, well, even if Hydration was buying a core, they could only buy one. So it's not really doing much. Whereas if they could buy 3, 5, 100, whatever it is, then they would buy more of them, and then the price would go up, right? And then it becomes like a competitive market. Right now, the market's just not there. But it doesn't mean when elastic scaling's live and all this stuff's live, and the ability for parachains to be able to like instantaneously scale up and use a new core and buy like instantaneous core time for like a few blocks, like that will increase. That will create the market once that's live. So people complaining about core time price, like the main stuff isn't even like live yet. It's like
the main users aren't even purchasing yet. The main customers haven't even shown up yet.
Yeah, like you think Hydration's not going to buy 3 cores immediately, like to have 2-second block times.
Yeah, right. Yeah, totally. And I think the phrase he kept using is in order to make the market better, we have to make core time more useful. It's just like kind of not very useful right now. There's like 2 different use cases, 2 different scenarios, and they're very like not very flexible. But I'm gonna cut that up and release that as its own clip because I need to study it more myself and try to understand. But yeah.
Be bullish when elastic scaling's live. Bullish.
Yeah, which is they also talked about it on the call. I think they're gonna what was the timeline they gave there? It's not already on Kusama, right? It's not on Kusama.
Elastic scaling is.
Okay.
It's just that there's not that many users utilizing Kusama parachains for the parachains to bother buying more than one car, right?
Yeah,
parachains like Kusama are buying cars, right? It's just like there's no point in having 3, at this point. Yeah, so it's like the spamming. There was, if you remember the dashboard, there was some chains that were like 6 seconds, and then there was some that were 4 with a lightning bolt, and then some that were 2 with a lightning bolt.
Right.
Like or 3 with a lightning bolt.
Yes, right.
Or whatever. Yeah.
Cool. That was a really good open dev call earlier this week. That was one of my favorites. Yeah, that was cool. All right, guys. Well, why don't we wrap it there? Good show. We'll see you again on Monday, where we're gonna bang out that RFP on chain and see what we get. This Sunday, Space Monkeys with the guys from SQD, formerly Subsquid. It's just a quick episode, but a deep dive into core infrastructure concept of Web3, and what they're doing with it is very, very cool. Less trust, more truth, even on the indexing layer. Is very neat to see. So check that out. You'll definitely learn something, and the guys are great. Besides that, you just have a great weekend, and we'll see you all very soon.